Leigh Patterson, Floyd County District Attorney. First off, what got you in practicing law?
Well, I've always been interested in law. Even when I was in, high school and college, I always had classes that made me concentrate on that, English and political science, and every aptitude test I ever took told me you should go into law. So that's how I ended up deciding to go to law school. And then later, when I was in law school at the University of Georgia, I was in prosecutorial clinic, and I got placed in the DA's office here as a governor's intern.
Let's talk a little bit about being in Floyd County. How long have you been DA in Floyd County, and where did you come from before that point in your life?
Well, I came to Floyd County in 1982 as a freshman at Berry College, and then finished there, took a year off, and worked between Berry and law school, and then went to the University of Georgia for 3 years. Then the first job that I had was as an assistant DA in this office. Came here in 1990, and then I resigned in 2002 after being an assistant DA for 12 years, and ran for DA in 2002 and took office in 2003. So I've been the DA here for, this is going on, I think, the 11th year.
You know, over a decade, is there a case that stands out in your mind that you're most proud of?
I think as far as Floyd County cases go, probably the Harper Reynolds case. I tried several murder cases before that were pretty tough. The Jan Bagwell murder case that tried with the county police was very satisfying. I think probably the hardest one is the Parker case that was in Walker County.
As far as cases that doesn't go so well, not individually cases, but how hard is it sometimes to prosecute folks, and how much work and time goes into that?
Well, I think a lot of people think that it happens quickly, and they want it to happen quickly, especially if they're a victim of a crime. I mean, they want you to process their case quickly, but we're the biggest county probably in northwest Georgia, and we have the highest caseload of the counties probably from Cartersville up. And we do about 5,300 cases a year because we have to do misdemeanors and felonies. So it is hard to get it moving sometimes, but we have a pretty quick rate here. We try to move our cases. We don't let them sit around.
Obviously, shows like CSI and Law and Order come into play. How has that affected your job as district attorney?
Law stories or law TV shows always affect our job. In fact, we always ask juries, do you watch CSI? Do you watch Law and Order? Because we want to know and let those people know that this is the real world. It's not TV. I know on CSI they have those big black Yukons, and they go pull them up to the crime scene, and the stainless steel trays whip out the back with the big plasma screens, and they get their DNA in 30 minutes to an hour, and that's not what happens in the real world.
What's one of the hardest parts of your job?
I think dealing with the families of murder victims and dealing with child victims of sexual assault. Those are two of the hardest kind of cases that we handle, because a murder case is just, you're having to help that family understand and work their way through the system, and they just know that their loved one's gone, and usually it's in a violent, brutal manner, and they're just very hard to deal with emotionally. But the children break my heart sometimes.
What's some of the most rewarding things about your job?
Put bad guys in jail so they can't ever hurt anybody again.
What is it about Floyd County that for over a decade you've given your service and time to the people?
Well, I love roaming Floyd County. I came here as a student at Berry, and I loved it when I was here as a student, and loved it even more when I came back, and I've made it my home. I'm not a native Roman, even though I've lived here since 1990. That's, 23 years now. And I think it's a great place to live. I've been all over the state in my duties as the DA here in Rome, and we are very fortunate to live where we live and to have the different amenities and the law enforcement, the government that we have here, because I've seen some places in other places around the state that it'd shock you at some of the things that people have to put up with, or just things that people don't have. So we're very fortunate.
What does Leigh Patterson do, finally, when she's not in the courtroom?
I have a big Weimaraner. She's about a year old now, and her name's Riley, and we go out and play fetch and run around, and I like to go see my parents and do things with my friends. I love to cook, and like to work out and walk and do some things like that. Like to do a lot of activities with my church. I go to St. Peter's, and it's kind of like my sanctuary. So I have a lot of things that I like to do, but that's kind of a sampling.